A lifelong friend of Helen, lifelong friend from school days. Ian Sparks was a lovely guy. Was going to
say lots of good things.
Say a few words, and anyway, he called me midday, and he's in a major panic because he's doing some big, the biggest gig he's ever. He's the Fresh Flower Man, if you know the Fresh Flower Man, and something's going on with Lindsay Fox. So I called Timmy. Last minute, I said, Timmy, come to the rescue. Can you say a few words? The man who could talk underwater?
No, it was the last minute.
If you keep going, Andrew, I'll bring up that story.
Yeah, but don't bring up that story.
Okay.
So Timmy might have a couple of words.
Now, Sandy, where's Sandy? So, just to follow on from that story, come up here. There is another piece that I can't remember the boy's name, but he lived in Noon Street. Do you remember the house in Noon Street?
I do.
What was his name?
I can't remember.
I don't know whether this was actually before you went overseas or after. When was that? Well, let me tell you, he was a character.
Oh, yeah.
And he had a briefcase. He used to go off to work at Pancake Parlour. Do you remember this?
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah, it was fantastic because I guess the important thing at the time was Helen was probably 18 or 19. Andrew was nowhere to be seen. My ex-wife Chris had gone to school with Helen. There was four of you, Helen, Ian, Greg, Leanne, 5 of you and Chris. They were just inseparable. And so I got to know Helen very well during that period. And this character, what amazed me about Helen at the time is that the rest of the four, a gang of 5, she was the only one that could go to uni. And I always thought there was a bit of a chip on your shoulder, the fact that they were going to uni, and she felt she needed to prove herself. So she got the boyfriend with briefcase. What was fascinating about this briefcase? Indy, can you close your ears here? When the briefcase was opened, it was like a pharmaceutical. And we all sat round going, oh, I think Helen's on the wrong track. We need to get her out of there. So we did. And she sent her overseas. She survived. She came back hairy, fat, but she survived. That was one part of my involvement in Helen's life. The next piece was a couple of years later when I started working with Andrew. And I said, Andrew, there's this woman called Helen that you should meet. Andrew, being young and groovy at Digital, Helen working, I think, with Linda at this time at JAG.
Those are vital weeks in the team.
That's right.
And Esmeralda mentioned the loft and so forth. The next bit was me on the other side listening to Andrew's chasing with Helen. And I was just speaking before Linda. The over the week bits hearing the other side of that story, which I'd never heard before. Finally, they got it together, and fortunately for Helen, Andrew came along and saved you.
Yes! Yes! That's what I've been telling you.
Well done,
You're such a friend of Andrew.
Thank you.
No high five.
But let me finish. Unfortunately, that saving went too far. What happened is Helen left North Fitzroy and joined you guys in Hawthorne. I was the only one standing in North Fitzroy, and Andrew, unfortunately, went to the Conservative side. And we lost Helen forever. So, that was the sad part of it. But in all honesty, I mean, Helen's been one of those people in my life that's been a rock. I think Esmeralda talked about the fact that she's got a very, very, what I would call highly emotionally intelligent. I've been through some challenges in my life. And one of the things that Helen's always been is very black and white about her view. What do you mean you're going about through this? This is what you do. I went through a marital separation, went and lived on their couch for a while. And Helen...
Wild.
And I'll never forget the advice from Helen. It was very, very black and white and very, very valuable. As much as I didn't want to hear it, ultimately it was true. So thank you for all your support.
that's all. Thank you, Tim. That was fantastic. Sandy, thank you very much. I'll just say something. Rob.
We want to hear from Helen.
Stand over this side. So, firstly, I lied to Helen.
Once.
I lied to her.
He's not allowed to do this.
The other night, on Tuesday or Wednesday night, and she said, I said, we're going out to this restaurant and it's a secret and all this sort of stuff.